Hey there, it's Sunday, and I wanted to share my method for making this sunflower. Now, I am using 10 crochet thread, um, and I thought I had my 2mm, but I have my 1.5mm with me, which is fine. But here's the thing. This pattern could be made with any size yarn and any size hook. I needed these to be small, so when I was designing it, because I was mailing it in a card to my members, I needed it to be super small, so that is why I used thread. And I thought I had brown, but I did not have brown thread, so we're doing a black center on our sunflower. Now, I also wanted long threads because I was turning it into a bookmark. Now, we are not going to do one with 12 petals. Again, part of it was I needed it to be small. This one is not blocked. I did block the ones that I sent out, but with the 12 petals, you don't really need to block as much. It looks more like a sunflower. This we'll talk about. I'm going to work in the round, but I'm actually not going to use a stitch marker, which never happens, y'all. It's just because this is literally a 3-round tutorial. Okay, so, and I'm closer. I'm hoping, I'm using this to kind of give me a center. Okay, I'm going to do my best to stay in there. I'm going to do a double magic ring, which is twice around. But then I'm also going to knot it, K-N-O-T, because then I'm sure it will stay together. Plus, that's part of how I did it, to kind of make it a bookmark or a necklace or something you could hang on your rear view mirror in your car or whatever. So all I did was the double magic ring. Now, if you do not like the magic rings, I totally get it. So probably 2 chains and go into the first chain, but if you feel more comfortable with 3 chains and into the first chain, that's fine. Whatever works for you there. Again, any size yarn, any size hook to get the look you want. Somebody said it would look really nice on a headband. So I would, do that in a bigger yarn. All right. So we've got our first chain. We're going to make a single crochet. We're going to make 6 single crochets. US terms. Trying to make sure I'm showing you, but it is tiny. I will blow it up, enlarge it, zoom in as much as I can, even though I did lower my camera quite significantly to try to get it a little closer. And again, I'm using this thread to keep myself a little bit centered. 1, 2, 3, 6. Okay. Now here's the weird thing with the double. I lost the stitch. And then I'm going to double count again. Make sure I legitimately have 6. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And yes, black thread is not the easiest to see. Believe me, if I had my thread box, I would probably show you this in a different yarn, or in a different color thread, sorry. So we're going to do 6. Now with the double, okay, what I did is I'm going to pull, I'm going to pull the loose one, and whichever one pulled down, that's the one I'm going to grab and make sure I'm not pulling that through. And I'm going to pull that until the other loop is gone. Then I will pull that closed. Okay. So the double magic ring is a little bit different, and some people it took me a long time to get comfortable with it. Now I prefer it. So what we're going to do is we're going to go straight into the stitch. I know that is really hard to see, but we're going to do a half double crochet. So I'm going to yarn over. We're going to go in here. I'm going to actually put that tail right there, so it's kind of locked underneath that. Again, I believe on the originals. And then I'm going to pull that tail out of the way. And I'm going to do another half double crochet in that same stitch. And I'm going to be counting while I do this, because I'm going to need 12 of these. Okay, I'm not going to count out loud. Into the next stitch and do 2. So we're increasing, but we're doing half double crochets in each, because I liked the look of it a little better. You don't want to be super tight necessarily here, so that you can get into it for the next row. But if you like the super tight where you're not seeing through, then then crochet how you like to crochet. And again, you can do this with any yarn. This is the pattern. 6 single crochets in an initial round, and then just keep going in the round, and then increase. So 2 half double crochets in each stitch. So you're going to end up with 12. I will count my stitches here again, especially because I'm not using a stitch marker. If I'm using a stitch marker with thread, I'm going to use one that has a very thin connection. This is one of my favorites. This came from Ladybird Loves. I'm going to use a very thin, where is that bag? I have a whole little baggie of the light bulb safety pins. That's probably what I would use if I'm going to use a stitch marker. Okay. I'm going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay. So hopefully I warned you enough. So now we are done with the black. So I'm going to go ahead and slip stitch into that stitch there and then tie off. And then how I was measuring, quote unquote, it was I was carrying it out to here and then cutting it off at approximately the same length. Again, you would not need a super long beginning tail or a super long ending tail if you're not doing the bookmark. If you're doing it for some other reason and you're sewing in these ends, definitely you don't need this much extra. Okay, so then I'm going to kind of make sure I'm on the back side, and I'm going to knot this. Again, I know most people don't knot in their crochet, but again, for this purpose, I need to make sure that it stays. So there's one, and then I'm going to go again. All right, checking my time. Oh yeah, we're doing good. All right, now how I added the yellow. And I did have a very nice yellow. I think it's literally called yellow. Let me see if this is the right ball band. Or if this is the black. This is the black. I don't know where the yellow ball band is at the moment. Okay, so this is what we've got. Our knots are on the back. There's a slight difference in appearance. If you look, the back does look like a back. I mean, there is a slight difference in how you're seeing the stitches. Okay, so I'm going to try to go into, because I want to knot with those, I'm going to try to go into that stitch right there. But again, I'm going to quote unquote measure here using that. Oh, I pulled out way too much. I'll show you momentarily. Nope, still too much. We're close. Okay, it's a little bit longer, but that's okay because I'm about to pull it in. I know that I just threw that on the floor. Not on the floor, on my desk. Oh, now my black's longer. Okay. So I'm going to come in from the back side. This is how I do this. Join your yarn however you want. And again, it's because I want these long tails. Join how you join your new color. And I'm going to pull that up through there. So all I have right now, shortened up, so I had to lengthen that a little bit. Okay, because again, I'm trying to keep those about the same length, those tails. Again, if you're not doing a bookmark, you don't have to worry about that. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to grab that tail, and I'm going to chain one with that tail. Let me put the yellow where I need it to make sure I stay centered. Okay, pull down how I can. Okay, and I'm going to do, I want to do one more with that. Yeah, I'll do one more with that tail. And I'm going to pull that tail out and back with the black threads. Okay, so that shortened it a little bit, but it's fine. So 3 chains. This is what I was thinking. I wasn't doing the beginning. I was doing the flowers. My bad. Okay, we're going to do a double treble or quadruple. I think most people call them double trebles. But yarn over twice. Go into that same stitch. yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Again, any size yarn, any size hook for whatever you're using this for. If you're using it for an applique, you do not need to worry about these long tails. Believe me, it's easier, but I was lazy and didn't want to sew in thread ends. So that was me. Okay, we're going to do a picot up here. So we've got a chain 3 and a double treble. 1, 2, 3. And then I'm going to go in the front 2 legs of that single. Or sorry, the first chain. Or the top. I don't know. Wherever that is. Great tutorial. Sorry, guys. And then a double treble. So yarn over twice. Hold it to that side. Okay. And then I would do a chain 3 and pull down, but I'm approaching it a little bit differently. So I'm going to do another double treble. So we had a chain 3, a double treble, a picot at the top, then 2 more double trebles. Now we're going to actually slip stitch down into the same stitch. And this kind of creates that shape of the petal leaf, or the petal, which I really liked. Okay, remember we have 12 stitches, but we're only going to do 6 petals. So in the next stitch, we're going to come over here and we're going to slip stitch. And that's going to create a little space between the two, unlike, where did I put it? Unlike here, where they were all crammed next to each other. If you like that look, then you're going to do the pattern for the petal in each stitch instead of doing what I'm doing. So I slip stitched into the next stitch, and that's just going to leave that there. And I'm going to slip stitch into the next stitch. But this time, now I'm going to do a chain 3. 1, 2, 3, a double treble, which is a yarn over twice, and then pull through 2, pull through 2, pull through 2, and then, or is that just a treble? That's just a treble. I'm sorry. Just a treble, not a double treble. Double treble would be 3 yarn overs. My bad. Okay, so I did my, at the top I did my chain 3. Now I'm going in those 2 legs there, and I'm slip stitching to make that top, and then treble with just yarn over twice. I am so sorry. I will make sure the words on the screen are correct to not worry about my words, but yeah, hopefully, because I actually said what you're doing, yarn over twice, and another double treble. Okay, and then so we've got the chain 3, double treble, picot, double treble, not double. Geez, Lori. Chain 3, treble, picot, treble, treble. Then slip stitch in the same stitch. All of that was in the same stitch, and then that gives that petal that nice kind of leaning look that I was looking for. All right. And we're going to review what to do next. So in this stitch here, we slip stitched in this one. Now we're going to slip stitch in that one and leave that space. It creates that look right there. But then we're going to slip stitch into the next stitch and then chain 3. And then treble, picot, treble, treble, slip stitch. I'll do the third one, but you've probably got it now. Yeah, let's go ahead and I'll pause it. I'll pause it after this and let you finish. I will show you the last petal, but quick review. So it's chain 3, treble, picot at the top, then treble, treble, slip stitch into that same stitch, then slip stitch into the next stitch, slip stitch into the next stitch, and chain 3, treble, picot, treble, treble, slip stitch into the same stitch. So you're doing 3 slip stitches in a row, but one of them just hangs out by itself and kind of lays on top, which I think gives it a nice look. Okay, see you at the end. Okay, I've gotten my 5 petals, and then I've slip stitch, chain 3, treble crochet, or triple. Some people call it triple. I like the word treble better. I think it sounds fancy. And then chain 3, and then picot through those front legs. Okay, and then treble, yarn over twice into the same stitch. Yarn over, pull through 2, pull through 2, pull through 2. And treble, and slip stitch just like we have been. Now notice there is one stitch right here, one stitch, and then this one. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to just do our slip stitch right here. And then we're going to come over in here and we're going to slip stitch in there. And I'm going to try to kind of pull it behind and then do a chain one so that that thread is in the back. And then we're going to do our measuring, so to speak. And it got a hold of my glasses. Cool. All right, that might not even be on the screen. It just depends on how much I zoom in. Anyway, so then we're going to just snip that off. I'm going to move that yellow out of the way now and pull that thread through. And there's our sunflower. Now, what I ended up doing is I used a blocking board and I had to like really pull them apart, and then I sprayed them with water. So that's what I did. But if you're using a different weight yarn, that might not be necessary. They might look the way you want them to look. Probably if I wasn't mailing them. Okay, I'm going to knot these yellow ones. This is the other thing I did, again, because it was a bookmark, or however anybody wants to use it. Okay. Okay, and then I took the black yarns and the yellow yarns threads. Again, use the hook size for the look you want to get. These are a little bit smaller than the ones I sent out because my 2mm hook was downstairs. So this is, and then I tied those together. Did I do it twice? Yeah. And then there are much better ways to knot than the way I do it. So you can look and see. So what I did is I just wrap it around and then kind of spin it. And this is another one where it kind of looks like a bee, and I love that. It kind of looks like a little bee. So I'm going to trim that one off. And the knot ended up looking like a little bee with the wings. So it's so cute. Trim that piece off so you can see what I'm talking about. Not all of them ended up looking like that, but it's cute when it does. When my very non-formal way to make knots kind of look like a bee. So then I'll trim those off too. And again, if you're using a different thread, a different yarn weight, and you're using it as an applique, or maybe you can figure out how to attach this and make it part of a motif, whatever you want to do. Just for the look you want. So this is a lot tighter. You can see, look at the inside. You can see the difference in having the 1.5mm versus the 2mm. There's a big difference in how that looks. So the 2mm made it a lot holier. Not as in it went to church, but it has more holes. I mean, it still has the holes there, but it just doesn't show in the same way. So I thought that kind of gave it more texture and character, but I kind of like this too. So. But whatever weight yarn, play around with it. It's a pretty straightforward pattern. And with that, thanks for coming in. Can I get an amen? Hugs from me, Ma Potato Head. Hugs from me. Remember, you matter, and kindness matters. Hope to see you again. Bye.